Hey guys, welcome to my channel. On this video, I'm going to show you how we can create our reactive forms in Angular. I'm going to show how we can create a form control, the form group and nested form group and dynamic form using the form array, which is the part, which is also one of the important part of the reactive forms and the validator. So let's begin. So I do have a project here, which is running in a localhost 4200, and I do have a project here called a toolset project, and yep, to the project. And the first thing what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the my app modules, and I already added a reactive form models because we want to use a reactive forms and we need to add our reactive forms modules to use our reactive forms. So once I added that one, I will go to my index.html and I will just add a bootstrap CSS just to make a life a little easier with the forms. And I will add it here on my index.html. Not Yep, index.html. So I can use that the bootstrap CSS here. So I'll just go the next step is I will go to the bootstrap forms here and I will pick the one of the forms here. Okay, this looks good. So I'll just pick these forms. I'll paste it here. So once I paste it now, so I can see, okay, I can't see the changes because I added a reactive form modules there. So my forms is still giving is should give me an error here. So here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove everything because I don't need anything at this time. I just need this one. So I'll write it here as a name. I'll just change this as a name. I know this doesn't work because I added a reactive form modules. So I need to bind this with a group. And form group is basically nothing. It's just a it just represent as a whole forms now because I added a form group here and each of this input field is going to be a form control. So the form group is basically nothing. It's just a collection of the form control. And this is going to be a form control. So when I added a form group here, now the second thing is we need to add what is the name of the form group. So I will add something called customer form. So I'll just save it and I need to create this customer form in my component here. So I'll just go in my component and I will just create this form customer form and I'll tell them this is going to be form group and this is getting from Angular forms. Once I added this one, the error is gone and I can see my name here, the big name field here, right? So what I'm gonna do now, the next step is I will go here and I will just gives, I will wrap this all the forms was inside the div and I will give a div a class name called container and I will wrap this everything inside it. So once I have it, I can say this one and this is my form controller right here, the class. And in this form control class, I will just add SM just to make it a little smaller. So in Bootstrap also it's called a form control here, right? And Bootstrap this is all the form control and this is going to be a form group. So we tell them this whole form is going to be a form group. Now we need to insert that the next is a form control. And each of the input type is a form control. And to specify to tell the Angular that each of the specified is a form control, there is an attribute called form control name. Now we need to tell what is this going to be. I'll just tell that this is going to be name. Here the type is an email, so I'll just change to the text for now. I know it is all email here because I grabbed this from Bootstrap, so that's why it's giving me all the email stuff. I'll just remove it. So once I remove it, now this name is binding with this form name here. So now the next step is to tell this our component to tell that this form control has a name property. To tell to component on the component side, we need to we can use one of the helper class. That's going to be a form builder, which will help us to create our form group, right? So now whenever the class is initiated at the first time, then I will use ng on init on init. Whenever the class is initiated as a first time right here, in this the first time I will use a customer form. On the customer form, I will create as a customer form is a form group. And to create the instance of the form group, we need to get a helper class form builder, FB. In a form builder, we could create a group. And the group is basically nothing, it's just a key and value pair here, which is an object and a object's key and the object's value. And the object key, the first object we want is the name. And what's the name? Name is basically is nothing. It's just a new form control. So we'll just tell them this is a new form. If I write it here as a Sam, then once I save this as a Sam, so it will reload at the first time and give me as a Sam here. So looks like our this customer form is already binding with our template here. To check if what's binding or not, we can also print here the JSON here, and this JSON value is coming from customer form here, dot value. In the value now I can create as a JSON here, so I can see what's really going on with my all the forms. So as you can see, my initiated value for the name is a Sam, so I can change to test, I can change to anything here. It's changing it. So that's how we can bind our form control with our component here in a reactive forms. So now the next step I'm going to show you about the nested form group. So what's a nested form group? So a nested form is basically nothing. It's just a if you have any other property, let's add we will have any other input field, something called a cell phone, right? Cell phone can have a multiple field. Let's assume the cell phone can have a multiple field. So instead of using the new form control, we'll just tell them that this.fb has a group. So now similarly like the before, how we created the name and value pair, like a property, of course the object has name and value pair. Now instead of here, we could create a prefix, the cell phone prefix, and this is going to be a new form control, right? So this is a form control here as a prefix. Phone has a prefix, and phone also has a let me area and the line. So I will use this as it is. So now I don't have a template created for a cell phone. So let's create a template here. So I have a name, but as you can see now cell phone has another object, and the object has a property called area, prefix, and the line. But it's not binding with our template. To bind with our template, what we need to do is we need to create the first thing is of course the template here, right? So instead of the form control group is 6, I'll just do 4 and form group. So I'll just use this as this. Let me check how. Oh, so now I just need to change a couple of the things here. So this is going to be name and this is going to be area, right? And this is area form control. That's all I need to do. The second is prefix. So I'll just change this prefix and this is going to be prefix. Okay. And the third one is line, right? And this is going to be our line. That's all. So I save it. So once I save it now, so I can check my area. Once I put the area prefix in the line, it need to change, but it doesn't change. The reason behind is this form is going to be inside this div, and this div is going to be a form control, not form group. Because as you can see here in the template, the cell phone is a property that's binding with the customer form using the form group. And cell phone has a nested form group here, which I already told them that it has a nested, but it doesn't know what is the property of the parent of this area. So the parent of the property of parent of the area is a cell phone. So we need to tell that, okay, we have a cell phone too. So to do that, we can create a form control group name, and we need to tell them the cell phone here. So once I added a cell phone now, so I can change the prefix and the line here, right? So another thing I want to show on this video is about the nested form group here, which I already sent it, I already show it. But let's assume we have something called home phone number also, right? So let's assume we have something called home instead of cell phone. Let's add we have a home phone number, right? and it could be home phone number, and I will add exact same thing here, right? Area prefix. Of course, I need to create a template for this home phone number as well. So to create a template for this, I'll just copy this and just put it here and change this to home phone. Did I use a home phone here? Let me check. Home phone, yes, H small lowercase here. So now I have a home phone number, and if I change it, the home phone number will change. If I change it, this phone number will change as well. The another thing what we can use here is, instead of creating this form group here, we can create a get phone phone form group. We can also create a helper class here. And helper class, instead of creating this, we will return we can return the new instance of the form group when we do a get form group. So instead of using this here, we can directly call that method as well, right? So it will return the instance of that every time when is initiated this as first time. So if I use this, so now it will reload it, and if I area will be changed, the prefix line will be changed. If I use a home, the home prefix will be changed. And the last thing I'm going to show you on this video is about how we can submit this, right? So whenever we're trying to submit this, the first thing we need to create the one of the function here is called submit. And in the submit, we need to provide our submit here. Our submit doesn't even create it yet, so let's go in component and let's create this submit function here. So as you can guess already, what we need to get how we can get the value here is I already printing the value called customer form dot value. So we need to get the data from customer form, and customer form we already created here. So as you can know that we can use a customer form dot value here to get the data in console whenever we submit. Of course, I haven't add any validator on this form, but I'm gonna add it on the next video, and I'm gonna also show how we can do a form array on the next video. First, let me submit this data here so I can see my all this. Whenever I sign in, or instead of signing, I need to write a submit and submit here. Okay, and the button type is submit, and this is submit on submit. And let me check everything is good here. Okay, now I can see here, right? I know it's empty, but if I add something here, it of course it's changing here. So when I submit, it's going to be submit. Oh, I already have a typo error here. T. Okay. So that's all for this video, guys. I'm gonna show you how we can add a validator and a form array in the next video, and hopefully you guys learn something new. And if you guys like my video, and please do not forget to like and subscribe my channel. I'm gonna put more videos on the full stack development. Okay, and thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.